my friends. I just want you to see that my head hasn't exploded yet. And I can't see you, but I'm hoping that yours haven't, or maybe you're listening to me from all different parts of your house. I don't know, but we have been through it lately. We have been bruised and battered, and I heard a woman on a radio show say the most dangerous moment is when you're getting the abuser out of the house. And I think we're there right now. And so I started out with this little light of mine, because the other wonderful quote I heard this week was from Van Jones on the day of the runoff elections, who said, black joy has triumphed over white rage. In the middle of everything, he was able to say those words. And which brings me to this song, which I first sang when I was probably just a little kid in Sunday school or Girl Scout camp or something, and I thought, what a fun song it is, what a great fun song it is. But I sure did not understand it until much later in life, when I started learning about the civil rights movement and people going to Highlander Institute in Tennessee to learn how to be nonviolent resistors of inequality and rage and hostility, and how powerful songs like these are. They're empowering, they're not fun at all. And you could have sung it more like, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. You could sing it like that, but no, those activists chose not to. They chose to sing it a different way. And so their version goes like this. You know it. This little light of mine, sing it. I'm gonna let it shine. Whoa, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. I would have understood the song differently if I hadn't grown up where I grew up, a small town in Michigan, and where it's not like we hated aggressively or supported or advocated racism, but like so many parts of this country, it's more of an indifference. We weren't affected by it. It just wasn't in our town. It wasn't in our town, and so we didn't see it. We did see the smoke down the lake in Detroit when the riots were happening. We were frightened by that. People were frightened by Martin Luther King and all that he had to say. They did not see him as a peaceful man. And but I still didn't understand what was going on. And then later, I heard these words from Martin Luther King: darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Hate multiplies hate. Violence multiplies violence. Toughness multiplies toughness in a descending spiral of destruction. The chain reaction of evil, hate begetting hate, wars begetting more wars, must be broken, or we shall be plunged into the dark abyss of annihilation. So we sing these songs to lift us up, to keep us moving forward in the face of this rage and this hostility. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Woo-hoo. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Come on, hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, oh let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine. There have been other marches. In 1963, the March for Freedom and Jobs, where Martin Luther King said these words in his I Have a Dream speech. And it was a peaceful march. In fact, the organizers decided themselves, in speaking with the administration, to only go as far as the Lincoln Memorial because they did not want the Congress to feel like they were under siege. And then there was the Million Women's March, which I think was 1 million plus the day after Trump's inauguration. Over a million people marching in Washington, D.C., and there wasn't a single incident of violence. That doesn't have to be the result In 1965, the March from Selma did have violence, but it wasn't provoked by the marchers, it was provoked by law enforcement. And which brings me to this song. One of the wonderful things I heard about the runoff election in Georgia is that John Ossoff was an aide for John Lewis, and Reverend Raphael Warnock was his preacher. So John Lewis had some vindication on that runoff day. And he was a young lad, just in his early 20s at the March from Selma. Again, growing up in my small town, I didn't really know about it. It just didn't come into our reality. And but 50 years later, on the eve of the 50th anniversary of the march, I heard John Lewis speak about that day in an old interview that was being replayed, and it changed everything for me. You know, you keep learning, you stay open to things. Ben Franklin said, "We are all born ignorant, you have to work hard to remain stupid." So I was so moved by that story again, and changed, and realizing that those people marched that day, but it was certainly not the end of a march. It seems like we're still in the beginning of it sometimes, especially this past week. We still have a lot of marching to do to turn that resistance, that face of rage, the state troopers that John Lewis called the sea of blue, to turn them around so that we can all walk together toward justice and equality and equal rights for every human being. And so in that moment, this song was given to me, and I sing it for you now. Started out peaceful, just like they planned. 600 people walking hand in hand. 2 by 2 they made their way into that bloody fray. We're still on the bridge, 50 years gone by. Still on the bridge, looking hate in the eye. We can't cross the bridge until we turn them around. I want you to sing with me on that chorus next time. Silent marchers, Montgomery bound, the right to vote, their common ground. Selma behind, what lay ahead would leave 3 people dead. Oh, we're still on the bridge, 50 years gone by. Still on the bridge, looking hate in the eye. We can't cross the bridge until we turn them around. Edmund Pettus Bridge and the angry blue sea at the bottom of the ridge. Old Edmund was a Klansman, and here's the shame: the bridge still bears his name. Oh, we're still on the bridge, 50 years gone by. We're still on the bridge, looking hate in the eye. We can't cross the bridge until we turn them around. Oh, Selma to Montgomery can't be measured in miles, you see, but in the courage to stand our ground and turn this hate around. Oh, we're still on the bridge, 50 years gone by. We're still on the bridge, looking hate in the eye. We can't cross the bridge until we turn them around. Yeah, we're still walking, still on the bridge, 50 years gone by. Still on the bridge, looking hate in the eye. We can't cross the bridge until we turn them. No, we can't cross the bridge until we turn them. Can't cross the bridge until we turn them around. Can't cross the bridge, no. We can't cross the bridge until we turn them around. We can't cross the bridge, no. We can't cross the bridge until we turn them around. People, get ready, there's a train a-coming. Still on the bridge. We sure are. There's a wonderful, he was a poet, a contemporary of Martin Luther King and James Baldwin, who, if you haven't read any of his work, you really should. The Fire Next Time. He writes so incredibly succinctly and from a place of bewilderment and anger and love about what it meant to be a black man growing up in America. And so Langston Hughes was a poet around the same time, and Langston Hughes wrote a beautiful poem. I think it's called Minstrel Man. The first verse goes, because my mouth is wide with laughter and my throat is deep with song, you do not know I suffer after I have held my pain so long. And there's much to be learned. There's much that people have seen in this past week, because we certainly saw that white Americans were not treated by law enforcement the way black Americans were treated for a much more peaceful demonstration. So everything is exposed. We're like a giant wound right now, a healing crisis we're in the middle of, which is an opportunity, you know, like it has been in the past, like it was after emancipation and like it was after the civil rights. And we're there, and then there's this resistance that comes up that doesn't want us to continue, that just wants to keep stopping us from going to that next place. And so this has been a year of exposing those things, and even though they've been around for a long time. My friend Bill Harley wrote a beautiful, beautiful song of grief after hearing the story about a young black man, Elijah McClain, who was killed by a cop in Denver in 2019. And again, you know, you take it in at a new level, at a deeper level, and you are changed. And that's the hope, is that we all are changed by what we're seeing and what we're having the opportunity to deal with and change. This is a song Bill wrote called Elijah. Elijah, oh Elijah, a child of God, what have we done to you? What have we done? Elijah, oh Elijah, I say your name, so many others too, they all have names. Elijah, they say in other times people could fly away, people could fly. Elijah, raise wide your gentle arms, fly o'er this troubled world, and fly away, and fly away. Elijah, oh Elijah, a child of God, what have we done to you? What will we do? Elijah by Bill Harley. There was a little passage from James Baldwin that I wanted to share with you today too, and that has to do with how we reckon with our history and our part in it, and how we got here and where we go from here. James Baldwin said this: "I imagine one of the reasons people cling to their hates so stubbornly is because they sense once hate is gone, they will be forced to deal with pain." Yeah. So Dr. Billy Taylor wrote this next song. I first heard Nina Simone sing it. She does an incredible version of it, but again, it's written from the point of view of a Black American, but it's any of us who are struggling to stay in a place of love and forgiveness and wisdom at a time that challenges us to, pick up a rock and throw it right back. I don't know about you, but I have felt all sorts of ways recently, and I don't want to get pulled into that. I don't want to go there, but sometimes it's hard not to. So thank God for music and the songs that keep us buoyant. I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all these chains holding me. Well, I wish I could say all the things that I should say. Say 'em loud, say 'em clear for the whole wide world to hear. Yeah, well, I wish I could share all the love that's in my heart. Remove all the bars that keep us apart. Well, I wish you could know what it means to be me. Then you'd see and agree that everyone should be free. Yeah, yeah. Well, I wish I could give all I'm longing to give. Yes, I wish I could live like I'm longing to live. Oh, I wish that I could do all the things I can do. Though I'm way overdue, I'd be starting anew. Ooh, yeah. Oh, well, I wish I could be like a bird in the sky. How sweet it would be if I found I could fly my soul to the sun and down on the sea. Then I'd sing, 'cause I know, yes, I sing, 'cause I know. Well, I sing, 'cause I know how it feels, how it feels to be free. Dr. Billy Taylor. I wish I knew how it feels to be free. As the old song says, when one of us is chained, none of us are free. So when I was a brand new baby folk singer back in the 70s, I was barely out of high school yet. This is one of the early songs that I learned, and I knew that it was a Negro spiritual, but again, I knew so little at that point. Here we are all these years later. I wanted to mention that we're 2 days away from the birthday of Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King, and something that a lot of people don't know about. I didn't know about it until several years ago when I was asked for a few consecutive years to do fundraisers in Port Huron, Michigan, for an organization called A Season For Nonviolence. And it was begun actually by Gandhi's grandson in 1998, which would have been the 50th anniversary of the assassination of Gandhi and the 30th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King. And he felt that it would be a sacred time between those two dates for people to look inward, to look into their lives, to work toward a state of nonviolent resistance, to keep that tradition going. And so it's called 64 Days, 64 Ways to Practice Nonviolence. And starting on January 30th till April 4th, every day has a meditation that kind of starts out moving more inward, sort of simple day-to-day things, and then moves more and more slowly and surely toward speaking truth to power in a peaceful way. I mean, it starts out in the beginning with things like, today I say only good things. And then today I say, I love you. And then there's a little meditation after that. If you look this up online, A Season For Nonviolence, information will come up about it. And I think you can still order these little booklets, and it's supported quite a bit by the Unity Church nationwide. But I feel it's so important, and maybe the new administration will become hip to it and make it a national observance. I think that would be such a great thing. I'm going to do a couple more things here in my little Wednesday evening musicale. And I just want to mention that I'm so happy to be back, and I hope that you're back with me, and I like to think that you are. I like to feel you sort of coming through the waves at me, and watch and share, and if you feel so inclined, you can visit my virtual tip vessel at my website, claudiaschmidt.com, and it's really been a big help this year to so many of us musicians. We've really been helping each other in such a fundamental way this past year. I mean, the kindness and the generosity that stands in stark contrast to the meanness and the nastiness that's going on helps keep me buoyant, that's for sure. So I go back to this song that I learned when I was just a baby performer. And I haven't really sung it again until right now. I didn't understand what being an orphan meant, that's for sure, because I was living in a happy home, loving parents, an orphan from your family, much less your country. You know, the song means a lot more to me now. Sometimes I feel like motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. A long way from home, a long way from home. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost gone. A long way from home. A long way from home. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel just like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child, alone from home. Such a long, long, long way. To play this song. My friend Laura Caviani wrote it, wonderful composer, jazz composer, pianist, teacher, lives in Minnesota. She was actually commissioned to write it for a vocal group called Vocal Essence, but she brought it to me for one of our duo gigs, which I am so longing to do again. And she set another Langston Hughes poem to music, and I think again this sort of speaks for the heart and soul of humanity. There are words like freedom, sweet and wonderful. There are words like freedom, sweet and wonderful to say. There are words like freedom, sweet and wonderful on my heartstrings. Freedom rings all day, every day. Oh, there are words like liberty, sweet and wonderful. There are words like liberty, sweet and wonderful to say. There are words like liberty, sweet and wonderful on my heartstrings. Freedom sings all day, every day. Oh, if you could know what I know, you would know how. There are words like liberty that almost make me cry. There are words like freedom, sweet and wonderful. There are words like liberty that almost make me cry. And if you could know what I little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, well, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Sing it with me now. Oh, this little light of mine, ooh, well, I'm gonna let it shine, yeah, yeah, yeah. This little light of mine, whoa, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, yes, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, oh, let it shine, let it shine, ooh, let it shine. Thank you so much for joining me. Be strong, stay buoyant, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks for coming to the Wednesday evening musicale. Mwah.